नमस्कार दोस्तों और जय हिंद। आप सभी को स्वागत है इन माय चैनल 1971 वॉर बुक सीरीज। तो दोस्तों आज हम फिर से डॉक्टर नूरन नबी फ्रीडम फाइटर ऑफ द बांग्लादेश लिबरेशन वॉर के साथ एक प्रोग्राम में बात करने वाले हैं रिगार्डिंग द प्रेजेंट करंट सिचुएशन अंडर द टेररिस्ट यूनुस एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन इन बांग्लादेश। If you have seen my previous videos, Dr. Nurun Nabi has spoken about his experiences in the Bangladesh Liberation War, जहां पे उन्होंने भारतीय 101 कम्युनिकेशन जोन के साथ काम किए हैं regarding providing weapons, bringing weapons supplied by the Indian Armed Forces for the Mukti Bahini inside Bangladesh who were fighting the Pakistani military at that time. He has spoken extensively how he used country boats to go all the way to India, Meghalaya especially, work with them, bring the weapons and also help out in finding the drop zones for the paratroopers to land close to the Puli Bridge. He was a biochemistry student of Dhaka University and later after the war ended, he joined his university and continued with his academic life, later working in Colgate. आज बहुत सालों के बाद he has been vocal again in speaking against this terrorist Yunus administration, जिन्होंने 1971 के सारे इतिहास को वाइप आउट करने का एक प्रयास शुरू किया है इन बांग्लादेश। आज आप देख चुके हैं the statues not only of Sheikh Mujibur Rahman being brought down, but the statues of freedom fighters being vandalized, the statues of surrender ceremony, the Indian Armed Forces personnel of whatever was there in Bangladesh, they have been vandalized. The Liberation War Museum, I would say, which was right in Dhaka's former race course area, that has been vandalized. It is like a slow wiping out of the actual history of the 1971 war. मुक्ति बाहिनी वेटरन्स को भी डिसऑनर किया गया है इन मेनी प्लेसेस इन बांग्लादेश। आज बांग्लादेश के अंदर कोई 1971 का इतिहास के बारे में बात ही नहीं कर सकता, जो हमने पूरा उल्टा देखा था ड्यूरिंग द टाइम ऑफ शेख हसीना। यू माइट हैव नोटिस्ड इन माय ओन चैनल एज वेल how many interviews of Mukti Bahini veterans I had been able to take during that time. If you go before the time of 5 August, you might see so many Mukti Bahini veterans with their perspectives talking about their own phase of the war, which is now very difficult for me to accomplish because सच बताए तो बहुत सारे मुक्ति योद्धा who are probably safe in Bangladesh for the time being but are not at all willing to talk about their experiences in the 71 war. सच बात कहे तो बांग्लादेश में आज एक वॉर चल रहा है, द वॉर ऑफ नैरेटिव्स। यूनुस सरकार का हाथ इसमें बहुत ज्यादा है, उसके साथ पाकिस्तानी आईएसआई, दे आर हैंड इन ग्लव्स इन वाइपिंग आउट द हिस्ट्री ऑफ बांग्लादेश लिबरेशन वॉर ऑफ 1971। उसके साथ बांग्लादेश में कंटिन्यूअस अत्याचार जो हो रहे हैं विद जमात शिविर एंड कैडर्स ऑफ द बीएनपी आउट इन डूइंग मैसिव एट्रोसिटीज ऑल ओवर द कंट्री। यू हैव नोटिस्ड वीडियोस, यू हैव फाउंड मेनी सच वीडियोस ऑनलाइन, आई वुड से, इंक्लूडिंग द एक्सट्रीम करप्शन and the anti-Indian sentiments being pushed by this terrorist Yunus administration। इसके बारे में हम आज बहुत डिटेल्स में जानेंगे फ्रॉम डॉक्टर नूरन नबी हिमसेल्फ। डॉक्टर नूरन नबी हिमसेल्फ इज अंडर थ्रेट because if he ever goes back to Bangladesh, he will be very much in a very risky situation for speaking against the terrorist Yunus administration। फिर भी वो बहुत सारे स्टेटमेंट्स पास करते हैं with no regard for his life। He claims that he has served his own motherland with the utmost dignity and respect, and he will continue to do so despite the problems that will be created by the Yunus administration। आज डॉक्टर नूरन नबी खुल्लम खुल्ला इसके बारे में हमारे साथ बात करने वाले हैं और हम सबको एक कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव डिस्क्रिप्शन देने वाले हैं अबाउट द करंट सिचुएशन इन बांग्लादेश। उसके साथ मैं आप लोगों को बताना चाहूंगा कि डॉक्टर नूरन नबी के ऊपर एक डॉक्यूमेंट्री बनाया गया है which has been on show also in India as well। This documentary is also going to be released in Delhi and has also been released in Calcutta as well. So without wasting any more time, let's welcome Dr. Nurun Nabi to our program today.
First of all, I would like to welcome you, sir, to another program today. And as we have noticed that you have been very vocal in speaking against this interim government of Bangladesh and its activities, especially in wiping out the history of the 1971 war, I would like to have a few, I would say, perspectives from you regarding what you as a freedom fighter think about this. The second thing is that this steady and very much of a denial of an erasure that the interim government itself is involved with its, I would say, cronies present in Bangladesh right now. What could be their ulterior motives behind working for such a disgraceful, I would say, activity?
Thank you for inviting me to your show and to discuss what is going on in Bangladesh now. It's really very unfortunate to see what is going on in Bangladesh. As you know, I was a freedom fighter of this liberation war. I went to the liberation war at the call of our founding father Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, and Bangladesh was making progress since last 54 years in different areas, including economic development, social development, and so on. And also Bangladesh became a role model of economic development in the world. International organizations like IMF, World Bank, and other financial institutions, they recognize that Bangladesh is a role model of economic development, and the credit goes to the former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, who ruled the country for 16 years in a row, 15 years in a row. So after all these things while going on, then all on a sudden we found that the defeated force of 1971, they removed former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina from the government, and through international and national conspiracy, they occupied Bangladesh and they occupied the government of Bangladesh. And since they are in power, they have been trying to do all their best to erase the liberation war history, to defame, disrespect the father of the nation, defame and disrespect the freedom fighters like me. And also they try to establish Bangladesh a religious, violent, fundamentalist country instead of a secular society, secular country. Bangladesh was liberated based on 4 principles, founding principles we call it, and it was promulgated by founding father Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. Those were Bengali nationalism, that we are Bengali first, then Christian, Muslim, Buddhist, Hindus later. So we are Bengali, that is our identity. And we will honor to promote the Bengali culture, Bengali language. So these are the motto of one of the principles of Bangladesh Liberation War. And second was to establish a secular society. Then Bangladesh will be for all people, whether he is Muslim, Hindus, Christian, Buddhist, so secular society. So the current government, and of course the economic development, the current government under the leadership of Dr. Yunus to erase those principles, establish Bangladesh as a religious fundamentalist country and erase this Bengali nationalism principle. Instead, they try to establish a Islamic state like Afghanistan, and they have also destroyed the economic development which was moving ahead. Instead, they destroyed the economy. So, this current government, and it's not my rhetoric, my claim. New York Times make a headline that the current government of Dr. Yunus is promoting religious fundamentalists in Bangladesh, and also American security chief Tulsi Gabbard.
Right.
She also, during her visit in Delhi, India, she also mentioned that in Bangladesh, the religious fundamentalist is gaining upper hand, and it is kind of not acceptable to United States. And India also don't want a unfriendly, anti-Indian, religious fundamentalist government like Taliban in Bangladesh. So when there was a kind of universal demand that there should be no religious fundamentalist group or government in Bangladesh, unfortunately, Dr. Yunus is promoting that. And during his regime of last 10 months, 11 months, he had introduced a mob violence. In other words, it is mob killing. They can kill anybody wherever,
There have
what
been some
time they
videos
want.
of freedom fighters
And,
being
and
garlanded with
yeah, and
swords.
these are all available in videos in national, international, media. So this government, though, let me talk about the conspiracy, how they deposed Sheikh Hasina, how they forced Sheikh Hasina to leave the country, and now she is in India. It was under the leadership of government of United States when Joe Biden was president. So America deep state, Joe Biden's administration, United Nations, European countries, and some Arabian countries, and Pakistan's ISI, and also local anti-liberation forces, Jamat-E-Islam, and its student wing Shibi, and also some other smaller
The pretext was
Islamic.
again on, sir, related to 71 war, that the children of freedom
Yeah,
fighters
yeah,
being
yeah, I'm
terrorists.
coming to that point that this group, they form a kind of group to conspire to remove Sheikh Hasina from the power. And this group, as you mentioned, in 1971, they opposed the liberation of Bangladesh independence war. Though during that time, India, Russia supported us, but United States, Pakistan, of course, we were fighting against Pakistan, and China, and some of the Arab countries, they opposed our liberation. So we call this group the defeated force of 1971. We defeated them, we gained independence, and we have been making progress in economic development, social development. But this defeated force cannot accept their defeat in 1971. Why they opposed the liberation war of Bangladesh? Because the United States had hidden agenda in the then East Pakistan, which is now Bangladesh, and that was that during Cold War and superpower rivalry, China is becoming a superpower. So to continue the hegemony of superpower United States hegemony in across the world, over the globe. They have their satellite countries in Europe, in Asia, in Africa. So they wanted to have their footage in East Pakistan, so that they can monitor what is going on, or they can control the Indo-Pacific region, their influence. So that's why they wanted that if Pakistan, West Pakistan, or Pakistan was a satellite state of America. So if Bangladesh get independence under the in the cooperation from Russia and India, so it will the independent Bangladesh will go to India Russian bloc. So that's why they opposed it. And after the defeat, their interest was still remain that they must have a pro USA government in Bangladesh who can support, or who can who can support the interest of United States, especially against China.
China.
So that's why they have been trying to have a pro USA government in Bangladesh, but all the regimes, in even when Bangabandhu, first it was approached to Bangabandhu, Bangabandhu refused, that's why he was killed. Then when Sheikh Hasina became the prime minister last 15 years, she was approached that if you help us to establish a naval base in Saint Martin, if you have given us the control of Chittagong port to us, if you can help us to establish a Christian state in Burma, Rakhine provinces, because in Burma, Rakhine rebellion army, they are fighting against the military government of Burma. So when Sheikh Hasina was approached with these demands, she flatly denied that no, I cannot get involved fighting against Burma. Burma is our neighbor, and moreover, we will not allow any foreign countries use our land to make problem in third countries, like in this case Myanmar. So that's why America was dead against this Sheikh Hasina government. They conspired many times to remove Sheikh Hasina from power, but with the people's support, she has been coming ruling the country, coming back to the power over 3 elections. One of the conspiracy America did last time was when the Peter Haas was U.S. ambassador in Bangladesh. They influenced BNP, the one second largest political party in Bangladesh, that you don't participate in election under Sheikh Hasina, then without BNP's participation, that election will not be accepted in the world. Then we can make a movement and we can depose Sheikh Hasina. But that conspiracy did not work. Sheikh Hasina came to power. Then finally, last year, they make this plan to overthrow Sheikh Hasina, and it was initiated by deep state under the administration of Joe Biden. But when Joe Biden was defeated, Donald Trump came to power. He declared that U.S. aid, a department of USA which helped third world countries, that just USA aid spent $29 million in Bangladesh to establish so-called democracy, and $21 million were given to India. That money also funneled to Bangladesh. So total, just 1 year, the Joe Biden administration spent or donated $50 million to depose Sheikh Hasina from the power. This was from only one agency. And over the years, I learned recently that over the years, USAID and also Deep State, the George Soros Foundation, and also ISI, Pakistani Intelligence Agency. And recently we came to know that even Qatar and Turkey also involved in giving money. So if combining all this money over 16 years, it came in the amount of more than $200 million. This money was spent in Bangladesh to depose Sheikh Hasina's government, making false narrative. And Donald Trump mentioned that out of this $29 million, just one agency in Bangladesh were given millions of dollars, and that agency has that NGO, I should say NGO, non-government organization, have only or had only two employees.
Two employees.
So an NGO who has only two employees was given millions of dollars to make a propaganda unseat Sheikh Hasina from power. So this was a conspiracy by orchestrated or led by United States and supported by United Nations. When this unrest was going on in Bangladesh, then United Nations Human Rights Commissioner Volker Kurt, he called the army of Bangladesh
Army chief.
that that if you get involved in this crisis to quell this unrest, then you will lose their job in United Nations peace mission. So that was a kind of threat. So that's why we call that United Nations was also involved, and moreover local these anti-liberation forces, Jamat, and other religious. And in Bangladesh, after 1971, there are more religious fundamentalist group like Hizbut Tahrir. They were related to Taliban, ISIS, all these terrorist international terrorist organizations. So though they are splinter group, small group, but they combine everybody in hand and then join this conspiracy orchestrated or led by United States, and spending millions of dollars, they overthrow the government, and then all this conspiracy, Dr. Muhammad Yunus, who got Nobel Prize, he was involved in this conspiracy. When he visited United Nations last September, in a meeting with Bill Clinton, former U.S. President, he mentioned that this plan was this plan was meticulously designed to overthrow Sheikh Hasina. Standing next to Bill Clinton, Dr. Yunus mentioned that this conspiracy meticulously planned and executed, and Sheikh Hasina's government was overthrown. And we introduced one of student leader. We call it, this. They are not student; they are terrorists. That
Mahfouz Alam, I guess.
he was, yes, Mahfouz Alam. He was the mastermind. He introduced that gentleman. So anyway, and also an interview with Voice of America, Dr. Yunus said, we have, by pushing set button, we have erased the liberation war history. In other words, right after gaining power, took over the interim government of Bangladesh, Yunus led to destroy the residence of founding father Sheikh Mujibur Rahman Bangabandhu's house in 32 Dhanmandi, and which was built, converted into National Museum. He led the mob to destroy that house, and then also all these this memorial statue of Bangladesh Liberation War. He led the mob to destroy all those things, and
The
he
statue of Sheikh Mujib to the freedom fighters. I've seen them bring
yeah,
posters.
and also Also, any statue, any memorial structure related to liberation war, related to Mukti Joddha, related to Bangabandhu, everything was destroyed, and it was orchestrated by Dr. Yunus. And his activity during last 11 months proved that he is the leader of Rajakar. Rajakar, that means those people who opposed the liberation war. They took arms in their hand, fought against the freedom fighters, against us. So they are called Rajakar, and Yunus proved himself. He is the puppet of United States government. He is the puppet of anti-liberation forces, and he is the leader of Rajakar, and in other words, he is the promoter of violence in Bangladesh. So during last 15 years, what we found was that he is a corrupt person. Though the West, United States,
He
United
also
Nations,
opposed the entire Padma Bridge construction.
yeah, I'm coming to all those details. So he was portrayed as a ambassador of peace, but last 11 months he proved himself as a ambassador of violence, ambassador of corruption, ambassador of destruction, related statue, memorial statue related to freedom liberation war.
Right.
And also he introduced this mob violence, mobocracy we can say, which was not present in Bangladesh history. People of Bangladesh, they were peace-loving people. All the political parties, government party in government or party in opposition, they used to live side by side in the same town, same village, but there was no killing each other. But it was introduced followers of Awami League, followers of pro-liberation forces, followers of freedom fighter itself, their relatives, they became victim of arson, victim of looting, and victim of mob violence. About thousands people were killed, and Yunus was portrayed as a ambassador of peace, but in fact he also a violator of human rights. One example is during those movements, so-called movement by these terrorists, though they call themselves students.
Students.
Students will not do that kind of violence. This mob, these terrorists, they set fire on Metro Rail, a national pride. They set fire on the Bangladesh television, and they have attacked 400 police precinct and looted their arms and killed 3,200 police officers, including one police officer who was pregnant. And she begged to the mob that I'm pregnant, but she was not spared. She was burned to death by setting whole precinct on fire. In that precinct, in I think called Anahespur precinct, 17 police officers, including that pregnant women, were set on fire and burned to death. And moreover, these 3,200 police officers, they were killed, they, they were burned to death, and their dead body was hanged from the bridge, from the flyover, to show the general public that how cruel these mobs are. So by doing all these things under the leadership of Yunus, he proved himself that he doesn't believe in human rights, though West portrayed him as a human rights supporter.
Supporter.
And what happened? There is a burning example that he doesn't believe in human rights, that these 3,200 police officers, they are killers, could not be put on trial. The relatives of these killers of these police officers will have no rights to ask for a trial of the killers, because Dr. Yunus, he introduced an ordinance that killers of these police officers cannot be put on trial. So this is a human rights violation. So I can give many examples. And under his rule, the number of rapes increased thousands times. Almost every day there
Every
was
day,
a
2 to 3 rapes
yeah, there is a rape
use.
from 8-year old girls from to elderly women. So and in the past there could be a few kind of rape when the ladies or girls are in remote area or in a risky area. But nowadays, under the administration of Dr. Yunus, the last 11 months, the women were not safe even at their home. These criminals, they attack the homes and then they rape women in front of family members. So it is a lawlessness society Dr. Yunus introduced. Unfortunately, he is supporting, sponsoring the religious fundamentalist group. It was written on a headline news by New York Times. It's not my rhetoric, but still, America, though they call that they believe in zero tolerance of religious fundamentalist activities, but they are supporting Yunus government.
Right.
Why? I mentioned in the beginning that America, this Biden administration wanted, and also the previous administration. Now it seems that even Donald Trump's administration also have
Supports
the
them.
same interest, that they want to establish a naval base in Saint Martin Island. They want to have control of Chittagong port, and they also want to have a corridor through Bangladesh to help Rakhine army, supply them with arms and ammunition and food against the military junta of Myanmar. So because of this hidden agenda, and they are supporting Yunus government, and Yunus government came to power, and he wants to stay in power until his death. In other words, though there is a false narrative where made that the Sheikh Hasina's government election were not proper, so that's why his government was overthrown, and Yunus government will
Restore everything.
a free and fair election, but he is not interested to do that.
Yep.
He, in the name of this reconstruction of those
Of
what is
Bangladesh, I would say.
constitution and other
Constitution.
reforms, he wants to stay. He wants to buy time and stay in power. So he has been doing conspiracy to stay in power. He failed every time, and finally he thought that if he implement the agendas of United States will support, and he can stay in power until his death. And what happened in disguise or silently, Yunus has given a blank check to United States that we will implement all your projects, but nowadays you cannot hide anything. Though there is no press freedom in Bangladesh, people would not know this conspiracy that America is going to establish a naval base in Saint Martin. They will have control of Chittagong port. They will establish a safe corridor for Rakhine provinces. But it was known to public through foreign governments, because India would not like what America wants in Bangladesh. China would not like. So through their satellite picture, there was a proof that already this safe corridor is being constructed.
Constructed.
Constructed. American soldiers' presence was visible. So when it was known to the public, then BNP, second largest political party, and Awami League were the largest political party. Combining these two parties, they have followers of about 80% population of Bangladesh.
Right, right.
And then when this was known to army said, we don't know anything, we are in the dark, we cannot support that if a foreign country will control our border. And Dr. Yunus, a foreign advisor, equivalent to foreign minister, he said 270 miles of our eastern border, that means nearing Burma, is controlled. 270 miles of border controlled by foreign countries.
Mm-hmm.
And army came to they said, we cannot let it happen. We cannot allow that our border will be out of control. So when these three forces, Awami League, BNP, and army opposed, then this American plan to continue their hegemony in the subcontinent in specific Indo-Pacific region. It was stopped for the time being. Then Yunus made another conspiracy to stay in power, which was that to make a deal with BNP.
Mm-hmm.
He visited in England, spending more than 5 crore takas in the name of receiving an award which means nothing. But in fact, he met Tariq Jia, the leader of the BNP, who is in exile in London, make a deal that if Yunus was allowed to stay in power, especially if BNP support him as president of the country, then Yunus will support Tariq Jia as the prime minister of Bangladesh. So through this illegal and unpatriotic deal, they Yunus want to stay in power. So this kind of conspiracy is still going on, and I will now and people of Bangladesh, they now have
I
uh,
was coming to
uh,
this media narrative, sir. I
yeah,
noticed that
I'm
Bangladesh media was not reporting a lot of these atrocities to the.
yeah, I'm coming to this point that Bangladesh people doesn't know they are in the dark because there was no free press freedom. I have statistics I can
Mhm.
mention that this government put false case of murdering against 412 journalists. Do we believe? And everybody, this murder case. Why murder case? Because murder case is not bailable,
Mhm.
so they can stay in the prison for a long time. So that's why false murder case against 412 journalists, and they have already arrested more than 40 journalists. They are in the jail, and they have put embargo against more than 300 journalists so that they cannot go out of the country.
Okay.
They were barred leaving the country at the airport. And the bank account of more than 300 journalists were freezed. They have no access to their money, legal money. And serious offense against the press is done by Indian government is that they have cancelled the accreditation of more than 300 journalists, and they have closed or occupied many press institutions like newspaper, television center. So by doing all these things, there was no press freedom. All these press people, they are afraid of telling the truth. But because of this satellite available in India and China, they have discovered all these secret deals. And when people now know, so Yunus government has no support from the public. So already the two political parties are against this government because of the corruption. And one example of the Yunus corruption is that after taking power, first thing he did was there was a tax evasion judgment against him of
600 crores.
666 crore
66
taka.
crore. Acha, acha, acha.
660 crore taka, equivalent to maybe 30-40 million dollars. I'm not sure exact number in terms of dollar. And not only that, his organization, Grameen Bank, were given exemption of paying tax for next 5 years.
Okay.
This is a burning example of corruption, and he did it just first day in power. So because of corruption, because of telling lies, because of this mob violence, because of lawlessness, because of rise of religious fundamentalism, he has no support. That's why he is now try to rely on American support. When that is for the time being postponed, that I mean those projects are being implemented. That project is postponed. Now he is trying to have a deal with the BNP. With the BNP support, he can stay in power. But nothing can stop him losing his job, because people of Bangladesh, they are very political conscious, and we have a history that when people of Bangladesh face this kind of atrocity,
They
they
have
move
stood up.
forward. Yeah, they will move forward, and already this procession is coming out against this government, and some, and also because of the mass media, people are also knowing what is happening, the corruption, lawlessness, rape, all these things through mass media, through internet, through YouTube. So things are moving against him.
Right.
And now I'll discuss the role of India. So during the 1971 war, India helped to train the freedom fighters. I was one of them.
Right.
And when they helped the freedom fighter to fight against Pakistan, and when Pakistan attacked India on December 3rd, India declared also war against Pakistan, and 10 million people were forced to take shelter in India, including my wife's family and herself. So all this sacrifice India did for Bangladesh. And after coming to power, Yunus started campaigning against India. And the country Pakistan, who killed 3 million people in Bangladesh, and they raped more than 200,000
Women.
women in Bangladesh, and they forced 10 million people to take shelter in India. Yunus government is making friendship with Pakistan, those who have committed these war crimes against people of Bangladesh. On the other hand, India, who helped us, 6,000 Indian soldiers sacrificed their lives, and 20,000 were injured, and millions of people took shelter in India, and India gave them shelter. And this government is making anti-Indian campaign, not only just rhetoric. They plan to make trouble in seven state Indian state in eastern
Northeast.
during during this military government or BNP government, ISI or Pakistani
Mm-hmm.
intelligence department, they
They
try
were
to,
very active. Very active.
yes, send arms and ammunition to this seven sister states to unseat or unstable
Mm-hmm.
Indian government. But Sheikh Hasina's government by using very strict principle. They control those supplying arms and ammunition to Seven Sisters and established peace there. So Indian government was happy with Sheikh Hasina's government, but this government of Dr. Muhammad Yunus, they has established good relation with Pakistan, invited ISI officers. We heard that Pakistani intelligence group has office in every cantonment in Bangladesh, and they try to unstable those Seven Sisters by providing arms and ammunition they brought from Pakistan, from Turkey. By the way, recently, couple of ship-loaded arms and ammunition came from Pakistan, but custom did not inspect them. That those ships, what is their content? So this is also an example that how Yunus government is trying to unstable or make trouble in those Seven Sisters Indian state, and also by this conspiracy that he tried to help America to establish their hegemony in the subcontinent, and China will not happy, India will not happy. Then what will happen if the Burma's military government find that Bangladesh government is helping the rebel Rakhine army with arms and ammunition from USA through Bangladesh land,
Right.
then they declare war against Bangladesh.
Mhm.
So if there is a war between Burma and Bangladesh, then what will happen? Pakistan, America, and Yunus government will support Rakhine rebels. On the other hand, China, India, India, and Bangladeshi people, they will not support America's plan. So then
Right.
there might be a proxy war of the superpower in the land of Bangladesh. Then Bangladesh may lose their sovereignty. Foreign country may occupy Bangladesh. So Yunus is doing all this conspiracy just to stay in power. But I think Bangladesh people will not support it, and Bangladeshi military will not support it. So ultimately, Yunus government will lose power. They will be kicked out from the power, and America's plan also will not be successful. America's plan did not was not successful in Vietnam, in Afghanistan, in Iraq, in Libya. All those states become failed state. So if English government try to implement America's projects, then Bangladesh will become a failed state. Already it's a failed state. There is no law, rule of law, there is no economic development, there is mob violence. So already we are in a bad shape. And if English try to do further to help USA, and USA continue supporting Yunus and keep him in power, then Bangladesh will be in big trouble. We may lose our independence, we may lose our sovereignty, but I hope India will not allow to happen that, because not only Bangladeshi people will be loser, India will also be loser, because whatever they gained in 1971 Bangladesh Liberation War, after removal of Sheikh Hasina from power and installing Dr. Yunus in Bangladesh leadership, India also lost.
Right.
There was good trade relation which was beneficial to Bangladesh, beneficial to India. So that is gone. Bangladesh is now suffering. So overall, uh, Yunus government must go. They, by doing anti-Indian policy and pro-Pakistan policy, they are hurting Bangladesh interest. Yunus is hurting Bangladesh interest, and so I hope the sooner he has been removed from power, and President Shahabuddin, through his constitutional power, he can declare emergency. Army should support, and they can set up a national
Government.
government who will conduct free and fair election. And after the election, whose party comes to power, no matter what, whether it is Awami League or BNP, they can then rule the country, and they can decide what is their best interest in their what is their national interest, not the unelected illegal government of Yunus.
Terrorists. Yeah, Yunus. I would like to ask you before we conclude this program today, sir. That is the Bangladeshi youth regarding 1971. There has been a lot of false narratives which I have noticed been publicized. I mean, I would say very much been published since last year, and I would say since the month of June 2024 itself regarding the 71 war, the links with India, Awami League, and I would say Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. What do you think, sir, is behind this? I think it was trying to twist the minds of the young people.
Yeah, it's an important question. I thought about it. I worked for a corporation,
Mhm.
an international corporation in USA, 22 years. What I have learned through my job is that when a big corporation have a big project, mega project, they have a master plan, then they have a task force, they have trained the leader of the project, they have workshop, and also to compete with the competition, they have propaganda department. So that's the way a corporation work when they implement that project. So anti-government project in Bangladesh against Sheikh Hasina was done exactly same way. As I discussed in my comments, that first they have set aside lot of money. As I mentioned, more than $200 million spent in Bangladesh. So with this money, they set up workshop, they trained the activists, they pay the activists, they made the false narratives, and it was circulated in the mass media, and even we came to know from U.S. government that the Biden administration, they approached the transgender community in Bangladesh.
Transgender.
They wrote songs to propagate their agenda, drama, this kind of. So they approach through cultural groups, through mass media, through young generation. They made workshop. They also hired university teachers, school teachers, college teachers to propagate their false narrative. And there was a network. I debate with one of them a couple of weeks back. That network of the university professors. They convince their students with these false narratives. And also these private universities, they are hungry for money. So there was a list that some of the private university colleges in Dhaka and also across the country, they are given money to their professors, to the student leaders. So just imagine this $250 million, if you convert into money, it's thousands of crores of money. And if this terrorist, we call it Tokai, that means street gang.
Street gangs, right.
Gang, if you give them 1,000 taka, it's a lot of money.
It's a lot of
They
money.
can use that money to buy drugs and or enjoy their lives. So all this, and also this false narrative I have been mentioning many times, is that when this movement started, it was started in the name of this quotas, against the quota system. But in fact, there was no quota in the country that time. Sheikh Hasina's government already abolished this. So when there was no quota system, why do you need to make movement against the for quota against the quota system? The reason is that ultimate goal is one time agenda, which is removal or overthrown Sheikh Hasina's government. So after 2 weeks, the movement was very peaceful because even pro government student organization, like members of student leagues, they also participated against for the movement against the quota system. But when they realized that there was no quota system, so no need for this movement, so that movement died down in the government university, especially in the Dhaka University. Then they set up one goal agenda that overthrown the government, and then they spent millions of dollars. Those Donald Trump mentioned that one organization with 2 employees got millions of dollars.
Right.
So then those money were given to this private university. And in Gulshan area, Banani area in Dhaka, there are many private universities.
Right.
Those students, their teachers were give money and they joined the movement. Then it became a large body of mass, and then they regained the momentum. And again, some of the leftist political parties, they also supported, BNP also supported. So using this false narrative, using this money and hiring this street gang, they burned the metro rail, which was an iconic development in Bangladesh.
Right.
And these so-called Samanwaya coordinators, one coordinator claimed that unless we set the metro rail on fire, unless we kill 3,000 police officers, this movement, this revolution will not be successful. Then another Samanwaya coordinator just last week said that he set the BTV, Bangladesh Television, on fire. And then and other people now they are taking credit that unless we did this violence, setting metro rail on fire, setting Bangladesh Television on fire, setting killing police officers, hanging their dead bodies, this so-called revolution, I call it this mob violence, would not be successful, would not be happen. Now many people ask question, why Sheikh Hasina did flee the country? Because she did not want to get public killed for his regime. She has big followers. If she would call that all my supporters, you come to Dhaka, millions of people would come to Dhaka. This mob would not be successful. If she asked his security forces that do your duty, stand for the government, try to protect the government, she could have done it, but she did not. She thought that if she tries to stay in power, there will be a mob violence, there will be a bloodshed. She does not want that. That's why she fled to India for her own life, for the safety of the people. Now they try to make again false propaganda that she fled the country. She did not flee the country. She did that to save the common people, to save the public. She did not want any bloodshed. She knows she is popular. She will come back, and I believe she will come back. But she did.
Without her, I think there is no proper political, background that has a pro-liberation war mentality. I have not found any political party like that.
No, and in fact, now they try to put Sheikh Hasina on, or put on trial that with the ICT, International Crime
Tribunal headed by Tangail
tribunal.
Imam, who is a Jamaat
uh,
activist.
Tajul Imam. In fact, that ICT was established to try the war criminals of 1971 war.
Right.
Last month there was no war, so you cannot put anybody on trial under that tribunal because
Right.
it was a political conflict. It was a political conflict, not a battle
Not a
of
battle
not
for
war.
independence. Yeah.
So about this, your question about this young generation, they became victim of false narratives, and some of them were misled by the cash money they received,
Hmm.
and all these Samanayaks, all these coordinators, they were poor students. Those who
Right.
are in power, two of them are in council, advisory council.
Hmm.
Two they left and formed
The
a political party.
NCP, I guess.
They have no money to buy shoes.
Hmm.
They have to do tuition
Hmm.
to earn their livelihood. Now they have crores of money, millions of dollars,
Right.
and one of the advisors' assistant is worth of 300 crore taka. Then just imagine how much money that advisor
That too in
has
1 year. Not even 1 year,
one year.
11 months.
Yeah, 11 months. So this I have seen in mass media, also in YouTube, that many of them, the young generation, they came to their sense that they were misled. They were a victim of false narrative, false propaganda, and some of them are publicly telling that we did mistake. And one of the spokesperson, a very high-ranking Samanayak, the coordinator, she resigned from her post.
Umama
That
Fatima, right, sir?
Uama Fatima,
Hmm.
she resigned, make a public statement. So people are these common people like rickshaw puller, labor, because millions of workers, laborers, garment workers, they are out of job. They are starving. So and all the students, there was no school
Hmm.
for last 1 year. So they are being deprived from their education. So they will have no future. Who will rule the country? Who will do this job where you need knowledge based employment? So young generation are getting informed through what we are doing now, from mass media, from YouTube, and also international press. They are and there are so many false claims that these people are martyred, but they are coming back from their grave. So there are
Right.
so
A
narrative.
hospital has been kept under
I,
complete
I
lockdown,
think the
I
young
would
generation
say.
will learn the truth, and they will come to their sense. They will become this patriotic citizen of Bangladesh, and they will going back to their educational institution, earn knowledge, and prepare themselves for future leadership of the country.
Right, sir. I hope that happens. I hope your country goes back to normalcy. And thank you so much for speaking on this subject, sir. And I would thank you as a freedom fighter coming up, speaking up again after, I would say, of talking about how your country is going through a bad time. It takes a lot of guts, sir.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Joy Bangla,
Joy
Joy
Bangla.
Bangabandhu,
Joy Bangla, Joy Bangabandhu, Joy Hind, sir. Thank you.
Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir.
Long last India Bangladesh friendship.
Absolutely. Long last our friendship between both the countries.